Hormuz, 5 a.m. On a monochrome FLIR display, the target is nothing more than a faint thermal speck, cutting through the waves. Silence so complete, you can almost hear the onboard systems computing coordinates. Those below have no idea they were already dead 10 minutes ago, the moment the system returned one word: locked. Many still believe in speed, but in algorithmic warfare, the one who arrives first is not the fastest. It's the one who knows the future. A strike from 40,000 feet, no warning, no distress call, only burning debris scattered across the sea. This is not chance. It is the result of 30 hours of continuous tracking, 30 hours of an eye that never blinks. The killer does not look like a supersonic fighter. It is slow, persistent, and its name is MQ-9B SeaGuardian. In Operation Epic Fury 2026, 11 Iranian warships were erased in what felt like a single breath. Many ask, how can a prop-driven platform cripple a vessel as massive as the Iris Macron? The answer lies in its position, within the kill chain. The MQ-9B does not just observe. It provides real-time targeting data through JADC2. It is the hand that guides. Tomahawk cruise missiles from over 500 miles away, continuously updating trajectories to penetrate even the most complex swarm tactics. As long as the MQ-9B is overhead, no matter how aggressively the target maneuvers, the kill is already decided the moment engines come online. Welcome back to Airpower Control. Today, we expose what is known as the kill web, the network that turned segments of the Iranian Navy into burning wreckage in the Strait of Hormuz. Epic Fury was only the opening act. The US has demonstrated its solution through MQ-9B, but remember, the battlespace is never static. So the question is, what does the other side deploy to break the eyes of the United States? Long-range surface-to-air missiles? Or a blinding strike from electronic warfare? Drop your analysis in the comments. The sharpest insight will be selected for the next deep dive. Now, let's dissect the US kill web. April 2026. The Strait of Hormuz, the narrow throat of global energy, is now on fire. Here, the US Navy faces one of the most dangerous tactical nightmares it has ever encountered: Iran's swarm warfare. Imagine this: hundreds of armed fast attack craft bursting out simultaneously from hidden coastal inlets, tearing across the surface like a swarm of enraged hornets. This is a reaction time problem, where billion-dollar warships often lose the equation. Even the most advanced Aegis combat systems can be saturated when forced to track and engage hundreds of small, agile, unpredictable targets. But this time, the Pentagon did not respond with Mach 2 stealth fighters like the F-35. They deployed a different card, slower, quieter, but far more ruthless in how it kills. And the most practical question is obvious: why not use the F-35? A fifth-generation stealth fighter, supersonic, lethal, a true apex predator of the sky. The answer lies in a brutal battlefield reality. The human body has limits. Picture an elite carrier-based pilot. No matter how well trained, after 6 hours inside a cramped cockpit, under sustained G-forces and extreme visual fatigue, performance begins to degrade. Even a 1% drop in focus is enough for the enemy to strike. But the MQ-9B SeaGuardian is different. It does not fatigue. It does not feel fear. It can loiter for over 30 hours, 5 times the endurance of a human pilot. But human limitation is only half the story. The second factor: war economics. Maintaining continuous F-35 patrols is a financial burden, with operating costs per flight hour far exceeding that of unmanned systems. The US chose the MQ-9B because it delivers persistent presence at a fraction of the cost. At 40,000 feet, the SeaGuardian operates beyond the reach of manpads. From that altitude, it quietly weaves a kill net using long-range sensor systems. What makes the MQ-9B the true king of the Gulf is not strike speed, it is relentless patience. It does not hunt aggressively, it observes quietly, like a dominant presence over the battle space. That said, The MQ-9B is not a replacement for the F-35. The U.S. is implementing a doctrine known as Manned-Unmanned Teaming, MUMT. In this model, the F-35 acts as a stealth sensor and strike platform, penetrating and suppressing advanced air defenses such as S-300 and Bavar 373 systems, which pose a lethal threat to slow-moving drones. Once a safe corridor is established, the MQ-9B takes over, filling the temporal gaps left by manned aircraft. The moment a fast attack craft starts its engine, the SeaGuardian designates the target and relays coordinates to long-range strike systems. This is the fusion of explosive force and cold persistence, a system that determines the enemy's fate before they even leave port. If you think the MQ-9B is just a remote-controlled aircraft with a camera, you're mistaken. In the Strait of Hormuz, it operates as a central node within the JADC2 network, a critical link in the Pentagon's kill web. Let's break down the technology layers that turned it into a persistent threat to the Iranian Navy. Unlike fighters like the F-35, which trade fuel for speed, the MQ-9B is built around a different philosophy: live in the sky. With a 24-meter wingspan, high aspect ratio, and the Honeywell TPE-33 1-10 turboprop engine, the SeaGuardian can remain airborne for 30 to 40 hours, continuously. While adversaries must calculate satellite revisit windows, the MQ-9B eliminates the concept of temporal blind spots through persistent presence. One of the biggest challenges in maritime warfare is sea clutter. To address this, the SeaGuardian is equipped with the SeaView SVMR multimode radar, a 360-degree maritime surveillance system designed to detect even the smallest surface targets within heavy wave interference. Using ISAR, inverse synthetic aperture radar, it can reconstruct high-resolution target shapes. But the real advantage lies in sensor fusion. SeaView radar detects the MTS-B electro-optical system zooms in, AIS collects vessel identification signals, and ESM captures electronic emissions from enemy radars. All of this data is fused and processed with AI assistance, allowing precise classification. A harmless fishing vessel or a fast attack craft hiding within a disguised superstructure. Within JADC2, the MQ-9B functions as a highly flexible airborne sensor. It compresses the OODA loop through high-bandwidth satellite communications. Yes, latency still exists, and human authorization remains part of the process to comply with rules of engagement, but the system operates faster than at any point in history. Detect in seconds. Identify, assisted instantly by AI. Assign, executed almost in parallel with confirmation. The result? The moment a fast boat leaves port, its coordinates are already synchronized with cruise missiles on destroyers hundreds of miles away. The MQ-9B does not just detect, it provides targeting data for long-range strike systems like LRASM and Tomahawk, turning a complex kill chain into a highly automated engagement sequence. And finally, a glimpse into the future: high-energy laser weapons. During Operation Epic Fury, the experimental 25-kilowatt laser pod, developed by General Atomics, demonstrated significant potential. While still limited against heavily armored targets, it is highly effective against soft components, optical sensors, pilot exposure points, fuel systems, on fast attack craft. No sound, no visible trace, only concentrated photon energy, silently disabling critical systems. This is not just a physical weapon, it is psychological warfare, a silent, invisible strike on the modern battlefield. Operation Epic Fury 2026 did not begin with gunfire, it began with the heavy silence of MQ-9Bs hovering in the stratosphere. The outcome is clear. 11 key Iranian warships, eliminated within 72 hours. But how does a slow-moving turtle neutralize swarm tactics, the very threat that overwhelms billion-dollar warships? The answer lies in two factors: wide-area surveillance and extreme endurance. While Aegis radar systems on destroyers can be saturated by hundreds of small, low-signature, highly maneuverable targets operating within sea clutter, the MQ-9B, from a high-altitude vantage point using Sea View radar, can effectively filter out sea clutter. It doesn't just track, it classifies and assigns identity, ID, to each individual vessel. All of this is integrated into a dynamic network known as the kill web. Unlike a linear kill chain, which can be disrupted, the MQ-9B enables any shooter node, whether an F/A-18 or a destroyer, to access targeting data and launch LRASM or Tomahawk missiles against the most vulnerable targets. However, in a contested environment like Hormuz, the MQ-9B carries critical vulnerabilities. Scar 1, the fragility of the spotter. Despite its role as a persistent eye, the MQ-9B is, in reality, a high-value, low-survivability asset without protection. Long-range SAM systems, such as the S-300PMU-2 and Bavar 373, are natural predators of slow-moving drones. History has already shown this. MQ-9 platforms have been shot down by actors such as the Houthis and Iran. For the SeaGuardian to operate effectively, the U.S. must first deploy F-35 strike packages to conduct SEAD, suppression of enemy air defenses. The MQ-9B does not fight alone. It requires a protective umbrella to survive. Scar 2, the battle in the electromagnetic spectrum. This is the true vulnerability. Russia and Iran possess advanced electronic warfare capabilities, capable of jamming SATCOM and disrupting high-bandwidth data links. Although the MQ-9B is equipped with anti-jam systems, such as Land Shield Plus GPS against large-scale jamming or GPS spoofing attacks, even this eye can be blinded. Once the digital lifeline is severed, JADC2 begins to fracture. A disconnected drone is not just ineffective, it becomes a potential liability, including the risk of capture or takeover. The lesson is already written in the case of the RQ-170. Modern warfare is no longer just steel versus steel. It is code versus code, resilience versus disruption. The MQ-9B, despite its power, remains only one node within a larger system. And if even a small fracture appears in the information backbone, the entire kill web can collapse into nothing. The explosions at Bandar Abbas have faded, but the shockwaves they left in global military thinking remain. The 2026 conflict in the Strait of Hormuz was not just a successful operation, it was a definitive statement. The era of close-range naval combat, where steel crushes steel, is over. In its place, a new chapter begins, a war of algorithms and persistence. A battle space where a slow-moving propeller aircraft can dominate an entire fleet through battlefield awareness and continuous presence. So what about you? After witnessing the power of the kill web, where do you place your trust? Do swarms of fast attack craft, relying on numbers and aggression, still have a role? Or does the future belong entirely to those silent, patient, eyes in the sky, watching from above? Drop your perspective in the comments. I'll be there to break it down with you. If this video delivered value, support the channel with a like, a share, and most importantly, subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next deep dive into Airpower strategy. Thank you for watching Airpower Control, and I'll see you in the next hotspot.